everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're going to be unboxing Eldritch Horror Strange Remnants. This is an expansion for Eldritch Horror, of course, and so I'm going to be just letting you guys know of where this one currently stands. When you pick up Eldritch Horror, the base game... Oh, sorry, did you want to interrupt me? What did you want to say? There must be somebody else here that wants to talk. Let's take a quick look and see who it is. Yes. What would you like? Do you have something to say? Oh, I see. Okay. So, do you like Eldritch Horror? No. Okay, that makes sense because it is essentially a little bit on the mature side of things. So, let's get back to this unboxing. Okay, so essentially you guys now know that I have a helper here to the side of me. So there might be some random screaming, crying, and or, there might be a general ball that gets thrown in this direction. If I happen to get knocked out, then bear with me. But this particular game here, there's a base game Eldritch Horror, which I already own. You can pick up the next expansion is Forsaken Lore. And I already opened that one up, so I never got a chance to actually show you guys an unboxing because I've already had the Eldritch Horror series for quite some time. So there's the Forsaken Lore expansion, which I've got open already. Then I went and bought Mountains of Madness, and I've already had that open for some time. As you guys can see from my social media, I've been playing that with friends. This is primarily something I've been soloing and playing with friends. I find it fantastic in either way. I got Mountains of Madness, and then I went ahead and picked up... what did I get next? I guess the next one should have been Strange Remnants, I believe, if I'm not mistaken in the order of things, but the way I ended up getting it was I could not find Strange Remnants. It was sold out everywhere, and I just recently got it, so I went ahead and got Under the Pyramids and Signs of Carcosa. I've merged Under the Pyramids in, but I haven't merged Signs of Carcosa in yet, so I'm a little bit kind of skewed in my order of operations in terms of the release dates, so I would highly advise, if you're interested in this game, Eldritch Horror, I'm talking the base game, not this expansion, to head over to Fantasy Flight's site, and they'll have them all in release order, and I recommend that you pick them up in release order if you're interested in the game. It just keeps the mechanics that they introduce in order, and of course, builds on itself. I know, it's super exciting, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to unbox this, guys. So, Eldritch Horror, Strange Remnants. On the back here, we've got a Cosmic Alignment spells doom. The approaching alignment of the planets threatens to end all life on Earth. Ancient prophets knew this day would come and build massive stone monuments that conceal the keys to survive. Can you uncover the secrets of these ancient ruins and survive the horrors that lurk within? This expansion features one new ancient one and new encounters, adventure cards, and prelude cards. 4 more investigators enter the game along with artifacts, assets, spells, unique assets to aid them in their struggle to save the world. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the biggest change to this particular expansion. That one right there, the Mystic Runes token, I think is the only one in this thing that's a new mechanic that adds into the game. So basically, you're going to be searching lots of runes, which is kind of like what the picture is in the front. And I don't know too much about it yet because I haven't merged it in, of course, but I'm going to be doing that. So enough talk, let's get to the unboxing. All right, so we're going to cut the back of this thing out, find out what's inside. Really excited for this. Let's see. I've been dying to get this expansion, as I mentioned. I had a really hard time tracking it down. It just recently came into my local store, so I was able to swipe it up. This was, like I said, I've kind of gone past this because I went to the Under the Pyramids, which technically is after this small box expansion. So I'm almost one expansion ahead of the game, and I like to do things in release order because I'm a little picky with that kind of stuff. But anyway, this is the game box without any, any plastic wrap on it. So as you can see, very, very nice. We're going to take it off. Of course, there's no game board in here because this is a much smaller box. I'll give you guys the visual of the actual box itself. So you got the expansion rules here. So this is a pamphlet explaining the new mechanisms that are going to be added to the game, how you're going to essentially use this expansion with your current game. So Strange Remnants expansion and overview. It's got a nice list of components there at the bottom. And kind of some highlights about the icon so that if you want to separate out expansions at a later date, you know what icon to look at. Prelude cards we're very familiar with from Under the Pyramids and as well as Mountains of Madness. Mystic Runes encounters, those are the new ones. This is the token I was talking about. It's going to add something really cool to the game. That I'm really excited for. More of these. We've seen these in the Mountains of Madness and Under the Pyramid expansions, which is going to add adventures. And those are really cool things that can help either reduce the Doom track, or they can potentially a lot of that stuff will give you unique items or allies, things like that. Focus actions we're familiar with as well. Excuse me, I'm doing an unboxing here. She goes quiet for half a second. Okay, so focus action. This one here, this is always great. It's like a reroll. It's essentially a clue in terms of how it works, but there's a limitation on how many you can have. And of course, you know, the game doesn't call to use clues to solve mysteries. So it's kind of a nice way to have an ability to reroll die and stuff. Unique assets, additional rules, all that good stuff, and game difficulty. Frequently asked questions on the back. So that's that. Nice end result. This is what you guys probably want to see, and that is what is inside here for an Ancient One. This is the Ancient One. Ooh, I'm going to probably butcher the heck out of trying to pronounce that one, so I'm not going to try. I'll let you guys try to figure that out. It's a cosmic alignment. So there you go. There's your Ancient One. I'm not going to go ahead and flip this over because that spoils a lot. So how this game works, if you're not familiar, is you're basically trying to solve 3 mysteries that are played at random. You start at Doom track 13. If that dwindles down all the way, then essentially you're going to go ahead. It says when Doom advances to 0, you lose the game. So that's bad. In some other cases, this card would actually flip over. So there's another one in here. It says, let's see if I can find it. At the end of the Mythos phase, if 2 mysteries have been solved or there are 3 Eldritch tokens on the red space, flip this sheet and resolve the portal open. So this has a little bit of a different mechanic. Normally when the Doom advances to 0, most of the Ancient Ones will flip. And on the opposite side of this, which is spoiler territory majorly, there's a new, typically a new mystery will come out or some kind of game effect that's going to prolong the game and make things harder for you. This one seems to change it up a little bit, so that's cool. Cultists are always your generic monster in the game, and essentially they're going to change based on whatever Ancient One you select. So they're really cool because they essentially will almost align themselves to actually match the Ancient One that you're playing, and they have specific rules right here on the sheet. Setup also gives you some setup instructions and also how to create the Mythos deck. So again, this is all kind of crazy spoiler territory, so I won't show you too much of that. These are cool because they're the investigators. Right, Serenity? They're the investigators. Which ones do you like? Let's see. I'm going to give her her book back. Look. There you go. Okay, so here we go. We got Marie Lambeau. And they're 6 and 6. There's the actions. You can take a read over those, as well as the skills for this character. Of course, on the other side here, it always shows the name. It shows which items they're going to start with, where in the location of the world they're going to start in, and also gives you a health and sanity condition based on how they died, if they do die, and some things you can do, as well as a little bit of a backstory. So they're all like that. This one here is, oh, Skids O'Toole. I got him in the Arkham Horror, the card game, so that's cool to have him for this game. Now, oh geez, he's not good at influence, that's for sure. But he's very strong, has some cool abilities, and he's the ex-convict. On the back of his card, he starts in Buenos Aires and Argentina. 1-axe asset, and of course his story as well as his conditions for when he either succumbs to health damage or sanity damage when he gets knocked out. Those are basically, how those work is those are encounters, so you can encounter basically an investigator that's gone down to try to, you know, roll back the doom or potentially gain a bunch of items and assets or a little bit of both. Tony Morgan is the bounty hunter, very, very strong character, very observant. And there's the artwork on the back for him as well. He starts with the handcuffs. That makes sense thematically. Colombia is where he'll start. And then the last one is Zoe Samaras. And she is the chef, and you don't want to mess with her. She seems to be quite aggressive. The art in this game is always fantastic. And it's a 5/7 for her, and then all her stats along the bottom. So there you go. There's the 4 investigators and the Ancient One. Next up is going to be the token sheet, which is actually a double token sheet. So there's more to it than just what's being shown here. Yes, Serenity. What would you like? Nothing? Okay. Well, that was weird. So what'll normally happen here is Serenity will chip in every once in a while when she hears me talking, thinking that I'm talking to her, and then all of a sudden I'll actually look at her, like I'm doing now, and she gets super quiet. And she's like, what are you doing? So, oh, are you excited? Here, how about this? I'm going to give her her favorite stuffed animal. So if you happen to hear some music in the background here, she may end up clicking she may end up accidentally hitting a button on that thing, which may say to start a song, of which I don't endorse for your own. Actually, yeah, if you want to lose sanity in real life, listen to a doll toy play music multiple times. It'll go pretty quick. Here we go. So here's the characters. We got a couple characters here. These are the ones we already gone through. This is the Mystic Runes token, if I'm naming that correctly. That's really cool. Kind of like the Expedition token. Got a bunch more health and sanity. An Adventure token. Proof of Purchase. Fantastic. bunch of focus tokens, and then of course some brand new enemies. So a cultist, a werewolf. You might wonder why. Oh, these are the elite ones. They're nasty. So you might wonder why there's always cultists. The reason they're doing this is every time they implement more enemies into the game, it's coming from a monster bag, and essentially they always want to balance how many cultists versus monsters there are in the game. So depending on how many monsters are being added, they add a certain number of cultists, because the Ancient One will actually, again, as I mentioned, whoops, it'll show what the cultists will do, because they're a very central part to how the Ancient One acts, and very thematic for whatever world-ending situation you get yourself in. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick break right now before we get into the cards, and I'm going to tend to Serenity here to make sure that she's not going to have a breakdown, and then we'll jump right back and take those cards and open them up. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out these cards. So obviously you're going to have standees here. These standees are nothing too special, but they're actually really well done. I always liked Fantasy Flight standees. They're well made. Highly recommend you put them on the standees and then leave them there. Don't take them on and off. They'll actually stay in quite well. They hook in really nicely. This is the first pack of mini cards. So this is going to have a whole bunch of things like, I don't know, this could be a bunch of artifacts, items mixed in. So the first thing we're going to see here is let me see if I got this right. Yep, these are the artifacts. The regular artifacts that we've seen even from the base game, but of course brand new ones. So some really cool ones. There's only 4 actually here. And then this one is going to get into general items, which look like this and have that back there. That little pistol on the ground, so a revolver. So the expedition guide, the museum, curator, secrets. So I'm just going to go through these. I'm not going to show you every single billet down here. You may not see it, but what I am going to show you essentially is the title of each of the cards that go through. So, and the artwork, of course, because that's phenomenal. Then we get into some conditions. So agreement is now a new condition. I've never seen that before. Head injury, that's never good. Righteous, okay. There's always a few of them because they resolve differently on the back. So if you're confused as to why there's multiple, that's why. We got debt condition. We're familiar with that. Oh, some extra things that we're familiar with. So these are going to add more to the cards that are already in the game. Astral travel. These are some spells. So these are brand new. I've never seen those before. Some flames. Marking. Wow, that's a lot of cool looking spells. I've always thought the spells were really interesting in the game, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how. Here's the unique assets. These are really cool. These basically got I forget which expansion introduced these. It might have even been this one, but I'm a little bit further ahead, as I mentioned, in the expansions than this game. But the unique assets are really, really cool. Like they definitely have that, like I don't know, like you're finding something super, super unique, or potentially an ability. Lots of good stuff. That's a decent pile of cards for an expansion to add in. So that's fantastic. Next up, let's take a look at these card packs up here. Alright, let's dig into more cards for Strange Remnants. So this pack right here looks like it's going to have more Mythos cards. It looks like, actually that's not true. These are going to be, well, they could be actually for the Ancient One. They're a mix of different cards, like research encounters, stuff like that. These are clue encounters that are specific to the Ancient One. So basically when you're going after any clue in the game that happens to be on the map, you're going to be pulling these based on the Ancient. The Ancient picture is always in the middle. So there's a whole bunch here. There's lots of text to go through, but it's not worth showing you all that. It's a lot of spoilerish territory, but basically you got a whole bunch of clues, because every single, like I said, every single Ancient One has their own clues specific, so this is tailor-made to the story. You have gates. These are general gates, so basically these will be added into the general pool that are available every single time, no matter which Ancient you play. These are the objective cards. I'm not going to show you the backs of these, because they're the prime objectives that you need to do to win and actually beat the Ancient One, and you pick 3 of these at random. Unless, of course, the actual card itself, the setup card over here, states otherwise. These, on the other hand, are adventures, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they look like this, and these are really cool. This is the last one, so I won't spoil that. Let's go to the beginning of them. So these adventures, how they work is you start with, adventure number 1, and as you work through it, you'll see down the bottom here, once you successfully complete, you get items, and then you progress to the next adventure. So it's a really cool way of gaining items, as well as potentially also advancing or retracting the doom, I guess. Not advancing the doom, that'd be bad. You've got a bunch of these location encounters. These are generic to city, wilderness, and sea are the 3 different ones there. Then you've got, again, awesome, because we got new encounters for every single base game deck that there is. So you're going to get a few new ones. And then, of course, the Mythos cards, the ones I was mentioning when the deck was flipped over. So, as you can see, a bunch of yellow, a bunch of green, and blue. These are going to make the Mythos situation quite unique. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so next up, we're going to do the next pack of cards, which is this one here. So This one is, what is this one all about? This is, so it's a prelude card. So a few new ones to randomly start your adventure with. Some new action references. These are really handy for new players of the game that don't know how to play. Shows your actions, your encounters, all the phases really nicely in a reference state, as well as how the mythos is handled and in what order. So those are awesome. Here we've got, I have not seen these, so I'm going to show you one of these. That's what they look like. This is the Mystic Runes stuff. I don't know much about it besides a token, but it's very much like going on an expedition, so very cool. And as you can see, it looks like, I don't know if these are numbers tying to different things. I don't know how these work exactly yet, but there's pictures and numbers, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but it's pretty cool. And then, of course, you've got actual research encounters that are for the particular ancient one that you're fighting, so a whole bunch of those. That'll be called, oh sorry, those are special encounters, my mistake. And then these ones here are research encounters with the clue. And there you go. So that's essentially the entire pack. I'm not going to show you the other side of the cards because I feel like that would be spoiling a lot. A lot of them, in terms of how they look like this because they're all just progressing a story. And depending on which, where you are, you'll pick one of those. If you're going through, a particular card like this one, you go here, you try and do a check. If you pass, you do the green. If you fail, you go down to the really nasty red area. And that's kind of how these are progressed along the track. But that's essentially it. I'm really excited to merge this into my Eldritch Horror collection. So hopefully this unboxing was useful for you. There will also be another unboxing following this for a game that I recently added into my pool. I think it might be Under the Pyramids unboxing. I don't remember which one it was now because I've got so many going. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this and hope it was useful in making your mind up as to whether you want to pick this up in terms of a solo game. And I can tell you right now, highly recommend it. Eldritch Horror has been around for many years and is a fantastic solo game. Love it, and I will continue to be adding it and all its expansions to my collection. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for watching. And as always, Serenity, do you have anything else to say there? No, she's way too busy reading at this point. She's got more important things to do, apparently, than listen to me. So thanks, guys, for all your support on the channel. Don't forget about the giveaways that are ongoing. Appreciate all the support. And as always, keep on rolling solo.